Hello and welcome to the Triple Loop Agile podcast. My name is Carl Rogers. In this podcast, we're looking to help unlock human potential by discussing ideas that support knowledge workers lead more effective, happy and fulfilling careers. We do this because we believe that when people are inspired, organizations become more agile, more resilient and more equipped to solve the real-world business challenges. In today's episode, I want to give another story about my climbing adventures and now how we can apply agile principles to achieve rock climbing goals and tying this back to modern agile. This is a story of my trip about a year ago now to when I went to Squamish in Canada. So about 60 feet off the ground with about 940 feet to go. It was clear I was on the wrong route. Pure friction slabs were the order of the day, and my calves were already burning. Despite being technically within my climbing grade, my hands were sweaty from the weirdness of being on a slab without any of the familiar features I was used to. This was pure friction slab. There was nothing to hold on to. At the same time, my own psyche was telling me loud and clear that I needed time to build up to a long route. It was also clear that we also needed to find our climbing groove. Climbing as a free, as we were, is more complicated and slower than a two, as someone is always in the middle of the system. Our team was formed of three friends who had not seen each other in more than a decade. We had 3 climbing styles, 3 different rope systems, even 3 different accents. And it was clear we hadn't figured out how to move effectively as a team. The piles of tangled rope at the base of our feet were clear evidence of this. So, how do personal expectations and past experiences influence comfort in an unfamiliar terrain? And how does the dynamic of a climbing group affect the individual psyche and the overall climbing experience? Let's dive in. At the first belay, I said, hey, I just want to check in. Initiating the eponymous core protocol from Living Greatness to share where my head was at. I made it quite clear at this point that I'm going to be rappelling off the route. This was my chance to escape with one quick abseil while the rope still reached the ground. As a team of 2, I proposed that my friends continue up the route and that I'd be happy to hang out while they did. This was mostly true. This proposal was resoundingly rejected. Either we climbed the route together or we went and did something else. What fantastic friends. So let's reflect back. Why is open communication essential in high-stress situations? And how do personal relationships and histories impact decision-making during such adventures? My friend Rob proposed that we climbed one more pitch, then retreat if it still felt uncomfortable. Lauren, my other friend, with knowledge of the route, explained that actually it's only going to become more awkward, with traverses making it difficult to return to lower abseil stations on the route. He proposed some alternative routes in the nearby area or more compact granite, and those that were bolted with big ledges where we could practice our rope system away from uncomfortable hanging belays. It's 3 different ideas, and I found myself explaining more of the core protocols, the decider and resolution protocol, 60 feet on a hanging belay. That was good fun. So that we could collectively agree what to do without stressing our new partnership beyond repair. So let's look at how do the core protocols, decider and resolution protocols help in fostering team decision-making in challenging situations. And how does building some consensus in this case benefit from the team dynamic, especially in high-risk scenarios? I call making safety a prerequisite the grounding principle of modern agile. In climbing, that is literally true. Without psychological safety, our team of 3 wouldn't have the ability to come together as a collaborating team to even get off the ground, yet alone achieve any significant climbing routes. Without the safety of an effective rope system, we dramatically raise the chance of hitting the deck. So why is psychological safety of the team critical for the success of any venture? And how do safety mechanisms, both physical and psychological, play a role in team confidence and risk-taking? The first attempt at a multi-pitch on the Chief in Squamish helped us quickly reassess where we were as individuals and what our shared definition of a successful climbing trip would be. We agreed this was to reconnect as friends and to climb fun routes with great moves. This was our definition of making people awesome, and to deliver value continuously, if we look at the modern agile wheel, meant being able to dance across the rock with the minimum of hassle. So how does the redefinition of success align with agile principles, particularly in a non-business context like rock climbing? And how do making people awesome and deliver value continuously principles translate in this world? And how do they translate back to the world of business? The fourth principle of modern agile is to experiment and learn rapidly. After we all abseiled off the sheaf, we jumped in the car and headed north to climb frontside 180, a 5.8, so Yosemite Decimal System grade, 720-foot route on compact granite. This rock led to a style of climbing that we were much more familiar with, which was one less variable to deal with in our experimentation of a rope system. This was a bit more like climbing in the Alps. This route had plentiful bolts, hey, again like the Alps, and comfortable belaying ledges, reducing the objective risks and the complications even further. This led us to be able to focus much more on how we manage the ropes and also to get a great climb out of what was turning into an incredibly hot day. And when I talk about managing the ropes, yes, I'm talking about the physical ropes themselves, but also the communication mechanisms between us to make sure that we can get ourselves and that rope up the climb. So it's worth considering, how does reducing objective risks enhance a team's ability to focus on specific challenges and improvements during a time of experimentation? At the base of the climb, we discussed our approaches. We then each led a pitch of climbing, which allowed us to demonstrate our individual preferences for rope management at each belay and invited discussion. This allowed us to see the benefits of using half ropes, more akin to a British style of multi-pitch climbing, and then compare this with a more Euro and North American style. We ultimately settled on a single rope, with the middle climber tied in via an alpine butterfly knot. Our first pitch of the week involved about 30 minutes of time faffing with the tangled rope. By the end of the week, our switchovers were down to less than 5 minutes. Now, for any seasoned climbers, 5 minutes is quite a long time, and a pair we'd like to do that, shorter. But it was good for what we're doing in a week. We were safer, and we were getting valuable climbing in more quickly. Frankly, we were awesome. So how do discussions, demonstrations, and comparisons aid in refining techniques and approaches? So this is a short episode, but just to conclude, it's worth thinking then, how do the principles of modern agile serve then as a lens through which we can understand not just business practices, but also personal adventures, like climbing for me? How might other activities or challenges also benefit? There's some reflection I'd like to leave with you. Thank you very much for your time. This has been the Triple Loop Agile Podcast. I'm Carl Rogers and look forward to speaking to you and speaking with you next time.